Hello and welcome to Brainwork. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the power of the F word. Now, some of you may be thinking of the other F word, but the F word I'm going to be talking about is forgiveness. Now, I'm sure that you've heard about forgiveness a lot, and it's that idea which seems it's common sense, but it's not always common practice, right? We know we should forgive people and we should let go and we should move on. We know all of this, yet we aren't always able to do it. And there's so much just negativity and baggage that we hold on to, and it just doesn't serve us. And so, the first thing I want to say about forgiveness is you have to realize that forgiveness is for you. It's for your own peace of mind. You can maybe forgive the person and you can forgive the situation and what happened and what was said, but you don't necessarily have to accept or agree with what they did or what they said. Maybe, they said something horrible and it really hurt your feelings. You can choose to forgive them even though you're not okay with what was said. You should have boundaries and you should have standards for the way that you will allow others to treat you. But at the end of the day, you can't control anybody else, and setting expectations for how they should treat you isn't going to get you anywhere because you can't control them, right? You can't control anybody else. Now, the power of forgiveness is that it allows you to heal. It allows you to reduce your suffering rather than holding all of this extra energy on, and it just doesn't serve you, right? And if you think about, let's say Billy did something that made you upset. It's been 5 years and you still haven't forgiven the situation. Do you think that Billy still thinks about it? Billy, he might not even remember what happened, right? Because it's something, maybe he did it and then 2 seconds later he was doing something else and he just completely forgot that it even happened. But it really stuck with you. And so it does not affect Billy at all, but it affects you. And so, although it may be Billy's fault that he said whatever he said and it made you upset, but it's your responsibility to now deal with it and handle it in a way that you're able to protect your peace of mind. And forgiveness is the way to do that. And what makes forgiveness so amazing is it allows you to start living life in a much more compassionate way. Instead of constantly holding on to things and everything that people say, everything that is happening around you, you're able to just let go. You're able to let go of your expectations for everybody else because you have to realize that there is nobody out there who is going to act or say or feel the same way that you do because we've all had such different experiences. And our brains are literally plastic and they mold according to our experiences. And so there's no reason to get upset over what somebody else does because you don't have control over that, and that's just a result of everything that happened in their life. But you can choose to forgive them and let go and move on. Now, a great way to practice forgiveness that I'm going to talk about is an ancient Hawaiian practice that has been going on for years, thousands of years. And basically, how it works, it's up to you how the details of this, but the way that I practice this is if something happens, I will sit down and I'll journal it out, I'll write it out, and then I'll say to myself, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So there's 4 parts to the Hawaiian practice, okay? There's the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. Now, if you haven't done something like this before, it might seem a little silly and you might not want to try it, but I promise, just give it a shot. You have nothing to lose, so just give it a shot. So, if there's anything that's happened that you should forgive, you know that you should forgive it, try using this method. And maybe you also need to forgive yourself for something. So try it. So try writing it down. Write down the whole situation, whatever happened, write down how you feel. Let yourself feel those emotions and then say to yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. And you maybe have to repeat it a few times. Maybe you might not even feel the release of that situation and that energy in that one day, in that one sitting. So you may have to try this for a few days. But I promise you that there is going to be a time when you do all of this, when you say these words while thinking about that situation, and you're not going to feel those emotions anymore. The anger won't come up. You won't feel sad about it. No, there's not going to be any regret or any guilt, any feelings of shame. All of that is going to be gone. But it's going to take time, and you have to consciously choose to let go and forgive and heal from that situation. So, your brain work for this week's episode is to, of course, try this practice if there's anything that you're holding on to. No matter how tiny you think it is, and you think, oh, I don't need to sit down and journal and reflect about it, it's not a big deal. Once you start journaling about it, you might realize how that's actually connected to something else, and you actually feel really strongly about it. And there's no reason to just hold on to all of that for no reason. There's just no reason to do that, right? So it's a great way to just live a much more compassionate life, be able to understand that you are in control of your thoughts, of the way that you feel, and nobody can make you feel any type of way without your permission. And if they do, that's okay. That's okay, but just forgive them, forgive the situation, and just live a much more loving and peaceful life. So that's all I have for you for this week's episode. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure you share it with somebody that you love. Maybe you know somebody who needs to forgive something in their life. Share this episode with them. And as always, I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you next time.